Imagine for a moment you're investing your money, but using the wisdom of, say, 1949.
Hmm.
What lessons from way back then could actually still be, well, incredibly powerful today, cutting through all the noise of modern markets?
The great question.
Yeah, so this deep dive is all about uncovering those foundational insights from giants like Benjamin Graham and John Bogle. We want to show that, great ideas really don't age.
That's the core of it.
Our mission here is basically to pull out the key nuggets from Graham's The Intelligent Investor and Bogle's Common Sense on Mutual Funds and really see how relevant they are for you right now.
And what's fascinating, starting with Graham back then, nearly 75 years ago, is his fundamental point. A stock isn't just some ticker symbol flashing on a screen.
Right, not just a blip.
Exactly. It's an ownership stake in a real business. It has an actual underlying value that should be separate from whatever the price is doing day to day.
So you're buying a piece of a company, not just gambling on a price movement.
Yeah.
Graham had that famous analogy, didn't he? The market as a pendulum.
He did, constantly swinging, as he saw it, between unsustainable optimism and unjustified pessimism.
Okay.
And his advice. The intelligent investor needs to be a realist. Someone who, sells to the optimists when things get crazy and buys from the pessimists when everyone's down.
That feels very contrarian, but grounded.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally different from that speculative new era thinking that fueled the 1929 crash, right?
Yeah.
Where value didn't seem to matter.
Precisely. People were buying based on pure hype, completely disconnected from the actual business. And honestly, you see echoes of that today.
Oh, definitely. Like,
Absolutely. And if you look at the data, the problem with active management becomes really stark. Between the 1940s and the late 90s, portfolio turnover in funds just exploded. It increased fivefold.
wow, 5 times. What does that mean for the investor?
It means enormous portfolio transaction costs and staggering tax costs, too, because all that buying and selling triggers taxes. Think about it this way. A typical active fund might earn, say, 10% a year before costs.
Okay.
But a third of that return could easily get eaten up by those visible expense ratios and the hidden trading costs. That's money straight out of your potential gains.
A third. That's a huge bite.
Yeah.
So what was Bogle's solution? What's the antidote?
Well, it was elegant in its simplicity, the index fund.
Just tracking the market.
Exactly. By design, index funds have super low turnover, which makes them way more tax efficient. Plus, their costs are demonstrably lower, and so is their risk. There was a recent study showing index fund risk was over 30% lower than active funds over 5 years.
Lower cost, lower risk, less tax drag. It sounds,
Yeah.
well, almost too simple.
Huh, yeah. And that brings us right to the power of simplicity and time, which both Graham and Bogle really emphasized.
Graham talked about protection.
Right.
Protection from overpaying, from being overconfident. He thought that was better than trying to project or predict the future.
He did. He famously said dependable calculations shouldn't need more than simple arithmetic or the most elementary algebra. Keep it straightforward.
And Bogle echoed that.
Totally. He called simplicity the secret of investment success. His constant advice was time is your friend and compound interest is a miracle. And it really is, if you let it work.
Start early, stay consistent.
Start early, even small amounts. But here's the flip side. He also warned about the tyranny of compounding.
Tyranny. That sounds ominous. How does that work?
It's the mirror image. Just like your returns compound positively, your costs compound negatively over time. Even tiny differences in annual fees, like 0.5% or 1%, lead to staggering differences in capital accumulation over 20, 30, 40 years. It's insidious.
So costs quietly eat away at that compounding miracle.
That's it. And another key thing here, really crucial. Chasing past winners doesn't work. History clearly shows that even the top-performing funds tend to revert back to the average, or even below it.
So finding a star manager isn't the answer.
Nope. Consistency and low cost beat fleeting stardom pretty much every time. It's about the approach, not chasing hot hands.
Okay, so let's tie this all together.
Yeah.
For someone listening right now, trying to navigate today's, often chaotic financial world, what's his main takeaway?
Well, whether it's Graham focusing on the actual business value or Bogle championing low-cost index funds, the core lessons from back then are incredibly clear today.
Focus on the business, not the noise.
Exactly. Ignore the speculation, keep your investment costs absolutely minimal, and then just let time and compounding do their work for you.
These aren't just dusty old ideas then. They're practical tools.
They're powerful tools, tools to help you cut through all the information overload today, and, frankly, to help you ride out those inevitable emotional market swings with more confidence.
Right. So if applying these, let's call them age-old basics, is really the hallmark of responsible investing now, here's something to think about. What other parts of your financial life might benefit from stripping things back to that kind of classic fundamental simplicity?
That's a good question to ponder.